Your strategy is amazing, but maybe you don't have enough data driven insights to drive that strategy. Nobody told you whether that strategy is realistic or no.
So what you do in data is basically started from data quality, data cleansing to master data management. Hi all, welcome to the podcast series by Nvizion Solutions. My name is Rakesh, Executive Vice President of Nvizion. Today I have Sri Lakshmi, the Group CIO of Switz Group, an AI recognized AI innovator with a government awarded NLP a patent earned even before a generative AI is launched. 21 years of banking experience and FMCG. She built the first Abu Dhabi's bank's AI analytics division before making sure that the unique leap from banking to baking now and now leading transformation across 10 countries. Her work has earned multiple AI and digital transformation awards, both in BFSI and FMCG, a true architect by profession for data-driven enterprises. I'm welcoming you to the show, ma'am.
Thank you so much, my privilege.
You're welcome. And you've been a leader who blends purpose, innovation, and continuous learning, right? So, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I wanted to know something about your career journey, right? Because I wanted to know you as a person, how you started from your early days of career in India, then doing a lot of projects in India and for larger conglomerates. You moved to Dubai. Now you're based out of Dubai, UAE, and leading one of the major firms who's at the cusp of innovation and transformation. So, just wanted to know the journey so far.
I think summing up a 21 years journey in the time we have may not be enough. So I'll tell you the highlights of.
Perfect.
So for knowing my journey and appreciating where I am today, I think you should know a little bit about where I come from. So I come from a very humble, lower middle class family of 5, and my father had a very modest salary. Yeah, and he did emphasize on education, which I think I'm very glad of having that kind of an upbringing. Even in those days, where when you have a girl child at home, people say about having her to learn cooking, take care of family. So, but yeah, my father was a different kind of a human being, and I think I give all the credit to him in whatever I am today. I think that upbringing gave me a confidence, primarily to understand that there is no difference between a man and a woman. So when people talk about, how did you pull up yourself in that male-dominated industry, or how do you work with so many men around? For me, that's not a question I would probably understand even, because I didn't come with that mindset.
Yeah.
So I was never nervous or never afraid of working in that environment. So it came very naturally to me. So I think that's one big contributor to my entire journey of believing in yourself fearlessly, believing in what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I did work across data all through my life. Yeah, I hold a triple masters, and I'm currently doing my doctorate. And I think curiosity to learn is also one of the contributor, because I feel bored when I'm not learning something new. And that's what I actually emphasize in my teams also. Learn, keep learning, because what got you here may not take you there as an aspiration. So yeah, I started my career in GE, and then I worked in American Express in Bahrain. I worked in USA for Equifax, and then I'm last 13 years I'm in Dubai, and I moved to Dubai when I was actually expecting my first child, and I was about 5 months pregnant. I know there was eyebrows raised at that time. You moving a country when you're expecting your first child? And the answer to me, maybe this child is lucky to me. He brought a whole new world of opportunity for me. And then I came into Dubai, joined FAB. At that point in time, it was first Gulf Bank, FGB. And we started the data practice. And we started BI journey, building reports. That's all was data at that point in time. And then when I left that organization, we had a very huge team doing data analytics and AI. And I think I was blessed to be bestowed with that opportunity with our chief digital officer at that time, Fadil Alali, and amazing teams. I loved my time there, and I know that curiosity to learn actually gave me a next step into my journey when I was thinking, what should I be doing after such a long stint in banking? Is when I started exploring multiple alternate industries, and from banking, I landed up into baking.
My next question, which intrigues me to understand from you, is banking to baking, right? Now, baking is something people may not have heard about. Like they go to bakeries, they try their delicacies, they love beautiful things sitting on the shelves. But what happens behind the scenes, I can hardly understand, what all things that goes across. So my next question to you is, baking as an industry and the things going behind the background, right? What are some of the data related things that happens in this domain, right? And how are you solving those challenges? Because I'm very intrigued to know what kind of regular challenges that happens behind this, scenes, as well as in this domain.
See, I have never baked all in my life. Okay, even today, even after joining Switz, I think when I was asked this first question of what do you know about baking and have you ever baked, I thought I'm not getting this job. I was
Makes
I
sense.
was
Makes
I
sense.
was completely unaware of the
Yeah.
industry, and so that when I wanted to start learning about the industry and complement the technicalities I bring in, I think it was a perfect green field for me at Switz, and I'm thankful to the owners of the business who gave me an opportunity to explore, identify, opportunities and come discuss. And they really had an appetite to experiment and fail.
Yeah.
And that's when I say it is not the organization size. Are you a multi-billion dollar or a $500 million? What size of your company doesn't really drive your appetite to take risk. It's that leadership's understanding and their thought process in terms of how adaptive are they towards the change of their organization, their culture, their people, and bringing in modern technologies. So when I started learning about these industries, I felt that this is one of the untapped industry.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, because it's still today there in trying to understand what SKUs are performing, what SKUs are not performing, who is buying, who is not buying. But the penetration of analytics and I think, according to my study of this industry in last years, is been very, it's an untapped industry. That's what I would say. There is a plenty of opportunity to do analytics. It may be forecasting, effective forecasting. We do a lot of forecasting, but is that actually really working? Do you have enough complementary external data to complement that forecasting?
Yeah.
Food industry is very different than any other industries. You can sit and predict, how many customers, what credit cards they will bring. Weather has nothing to do with this.
Correct.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Climate has nothing to do with this. But when you are in a food industry, you sell savories. A one rain out there, you are out of samosas.
Correct.
Okay? One occasion of India winning a match, you are out of stock for the cakes. That is very unique to this industry. So a
So
lot,
extremely dynamic.
yeah, extremely dynamic. Any occasion out there, any hype that happens in the industry, or anything that is happening in the real life, impacts that industry. So I say this is one industry where emotions of us as human beings are attached. We eat when we are sad, we eat when we are happy. Food is
Obviously
part of,
not healthy, but
but yeah, the food is a connecting factor between
yes.
our emotions, and I
Yes.
think that is one that I'm really really enjoying, and I think I don't regret my decision of moving away from banking to baking, because there were a lot of eyebrows raised when I took that jump, and still there are people who think that. But I'm absolutely loving it because there's lots to do, and I think this will keep me very curious and active for rest of my career.
From the untapped industries, from banking to baking, how are you taking steps to make this untapped industry go towards a data-driven enterprise? What are the steps that you're taking, and what are some of the new data things, initiatives that you're rolling out?
Yeah, I think if you want to become a data driven organization, irrespective of where I am right now and what I am doing, these are like generic logical steps that everybody may have to think about. Because there is, with all that is happening in technology industry right now, people think AI is a solution for everything. People don't want to step back and think sensibly of what are the issues. So I think you should start with data diagnosis. Like you won't walk up to a doctor with the prescription, saying that give me this medicine, I have this. Maybe that most of the people do. That's when doctors get annoyed. But yeah, you start with understanding your data first. So do a thorough data study of what are your systems, what is the data that is sitting in the systems, how old are these data, what is the wealth of information out there in the data, is there somebody, an SME in the organization who understand that data, and understand what is the quality of your data. Simply to put it, how good is your data, how bad is your data. So if you say your data is bad, how bad is your bad? If you say your data is good, how good is your good? So there should be tangible numbers across your acceptable levels of data qualities. And do you have governance in terms of capturing the data, processing the data correctly, storing it and retrieving it? Data practice, I'm telling you, in the world of data analytics and AI, people tend to ignore, but data is the cornerstone of everything. You don't understand your organization's data, you can never leverage probably the best out of analytics and AI. We all talk about big advanced models, AI, chatbot, generative AI. What's happening behind all this? It's a training. You're training something to mimic a human or take decisions like human. And that all comes from that training data. It's like you teaching your children how to walk when they're taking the baby steps. It's like you teaching your kids to eat, how to eat, your mannerisms when they are starting to eat. It's like that. When you are starting to train a model, what data is that you want to use for the training? So I think it is very undermined profession of data quality, data governance, data experts. But let me tell you, if you really want to become a data driven organization, having a data diagnosis done to understand your data should be step one. And that's precisely what I have done currently, and I have done even in the banking organization before, where I did big data architectures, whether it was for Equifax where I built an MDM, whether it was in Oracle where I did OBI reportings, or in Switz today where we are bringing the data lake on Fabric. We are the early adopters of Fabric technology in the region, in FMCG, and where I launched a virtual agent in FAB. All this were heavily data driven. Understanding what are your problems and what your aspirations are to solve with data should be your priority. You cannot jump onto doing AI without having your basics right. I think that is one problem I would say the industry is facing right now. With so much of hype on AI, people don't want to use the common sense even to solve those problems, which doesn't require an AI. Sometimes a good understanding of the problem itself is a solution.
Yeah. So I agree with you that from that perspective, that good data versus bad data, data quality, data cleansing is extremely important before we start out in data initiative. But can you throw some business use cases in the industry that you have worked, right, where you have taken from the grassroots level some of the data specimens and did this diagnosis, and what are your learnings during that particular period of time?
See, I'll give you from my previous banking industry, analytics was all about recommendation engine of what I have to sell to this customer. Today he has a credit card. Should I send a mortgage? Should I send an auto loan? And what is the value share of the customer? How much more can I make from him? These are the legacy analytics use cases in banking. Compared to other industries, I think in banking, there is a certain level of understanding on what data can do, and it has been using data to a larger extent. May not be as advanced as it is today, but using data analytics in internal fraud investigations and solving financial crimes, resolving whistleblowing cases, I think that was a amazing opportunity where data was never used, and we started using that, and yes, we did solve major issues, and they were all purely data driven.
Understood.
And few use cases about, I'll give you the virtual agent. The conversational virtual agent that we launched in my previous organization was the same technology, was same solution, was the same use cases that some other renowned bank in the region wanted to solve, but they had to pull back their virtual agent few weeks after they launched it. What went wrong there? It wasn't the technology choice because we use the same technology. It wasn't the experts who did it. It was that understanding of what problem should the conversational AI solve. What would the customers want to talk? How do they want to talk? And a small example of when the AI picks up the call. Hi Rakesh, welcome to the bank. How can I help you today? You say, I want to find out the balance of my credit card. Now, let's just say you just said, I want to find out the balance of my card. But then, should I ask which card? That should be the obvious next question. Step back a little bit. Check if Rakesh has a credit card or a debit card. If he doesn't have a credit card, he is obviously asking the balance of his debit card, which is his bank account. Just give him the balance.
You know what, Sri, I have to tell you something, right? My experience with banking, with respect to, I hold 3-4 banks cards, never ever have I had a chance that I got an answer in less than 5 minutes from the time I've called.
That was the design.
We are talking about the era of AI, advanced analytics, machine learning, so on and so forth. But we have still not figured out this problem.
Yeah.
Saying that how much is the whole time that you will make a customer wait before the customer gets annoyed by the whole service of customer service given by a virtual agent or a human interface. By the way, moving from a virtual agent to a human interface, it takes itself 15 minutes time.
Exactly. I'll give you another example. Let's say you have only one credit card. You don't have any other account. You have 2 cards. Okay. Then you ask, I just want to find out the balance of my credit card. I know you have 2 credit cards already. And then I know you are frequently using card A.
Correct.
I don't want to ask you. I will say the balance on your card A is X dollars. Good. You're happy. You're not asking about B. But if you actually want to know about B, you will say, okay, can you give me the card balance on my other card? And then I will not again ask you which card, because I know you have only 2 cards. That sense of building the conversation is more important than the technology itself. Where does that come from? It doesn't come from the coders. It doesn't come from the technical people. It comes from those people who understand how the industry works. They are the people who are sitting in that call center taking those calls. They will understand the customer behavior. But when we do mega AI initiatives, when we do mega projects, we always focus on bringing great technical experts, great technology. We think spending more on a technology will give you a better solution. No. But we always forget those are the people who are the SMEs of the data, of the customer. They should be part of your journey.
I don't know, I want to validate this thought process with you. I see a lack of adoption of technology where the customer empathy is not there to understand the whole journey the customer is going to face while he or she is going to interface with the virtual agent. Can I relate this problem to the training of the data set, which is basically the fundamental problem with data, and subsequently the data sets that is being available to train the data or the data model? Would that be a right guess?
See, I think understanding what the problem you're trying to solve is the cornerstone of any solution. Okay, that is what people don't focus a lot of time on. You're running behind meeting a schedule.
Yeah.
You're running behind operating in certain budget. You want to just have the technology done as a tick mark in your box. Then adoption will fail. It doesn't matter AI or even a small. Let's say I built a small report for you.
Yeah.
And I am seeing the adoption, like how many times in a week are you using that report? I see you coming back to use that report twice is a good adoption for me.
Correct.
Okay. If I see you haven't used that report at all in last 1 month, that means you're not adopted it. My efforts of building that report has gone waste. Should I leave it there? No. You know, come understand with you. Like I did this, but why is that you're not using? You know what? Actually, I didn't know how to get onto the platform. Sometimes you don't focus on the user training.
Correct.
Yeah. Your second response can be, look, it didn't have these two columns that I really wanted. That means you didn't take the feedback. You didn't incorporate the feedback. The small things that you have to do in the journey of delivering a technology are not focused a lot on. We always focus on the end goal, but the small journey points that you have to stop by, pause yourself, reevaluate, and come back is not happening. We say people, we do agile. You really don't do agile. If you do agile, then adoption issues should be minimal. See, adoption issues will be there in any kind of technology. Yeah, because it's a new thing that you're introducing. Even you take time to get into your new shoes too, though it is of the same size. You have to adapt. So it's a similar thing for any technology for end users. If adoption is failing, which means you either have missed to take the feedback, or you either have missed to involve the right users of the technology, or you actually solved a different problem.
Correct. Makes sense. And coming back to the original point that you mentioned, data diagnosis becomes extremely important. In these cases also.
Exactly. I'm sorry, I'll go back to the same example. You don't ask for a prescription. You ask for a root cause. See, I'm having this consistent headache. What is the reason?
Correct.
I'm having this consistent pain in my body. Like, what is the problem? So if you're saying your business is suffering in sales, your business is suffering in buying good, your business is suffering in selling better, okay, pause back and see what's going wrong. You can have an amazing data. Maybe your strategy is wrong. Your strategy is amazing, but maybe you don't have enough data-driven insights to drive that strategy. Nobody told you whether that strategy is realistic or no, whether you can achieve that numbers or no.
Correct.
This is one very great area where we talk so much about strategy, business strategy, 5-year strategy, 10-year strategy. When you're actually building all this strategy, you're not involving your data teams to actually tell you what was your growth in last 10 years, whatever you're planning in the next 5 years, is it achievable? And if it is, to what extent it is. When you do strategies not driven by the data facts, then...
So both prescriptive and predictive analytics will fail if you don't have the right set of
Exactly. Even before you go to a prescriptive and predictive, diagnostic analysis, which we call as exploratory data analysis. Explore your data first. Understand what your data is trying to say. And then you build everything else from there. And when we say trying to understand your data, we are not talking about a great statistical models and all. We are just simply talking about understanding the patterns in your data. Seasonalities in your data.
Correct.
No, exceptions in your data. Anomalies in your data quality issues. All these are basics, but lack of patience. People don't have patience to understand this problem before recommending solutions. Even the consultants who come in to solve some problem are given a mandate already coming in before saying, we want 3 agentic AI use cases to be delivered. Poor you. If you really want to suggest them data diagnosis to do as a step 1, you have a different agenda to do. That rush in trying to do something is actually not allowing you to do the right thing. So Rakesh, tell me, being at Nvizion, where you meet so many other alternate customers and industries in the region, what are the challenges you are facing in trying to actually recommend the basics to be a data-driven versus what is coming your way?
I meet a lot of leaders like you. Especially, I can give you some examples from the manufacturing domain. At Nvizion, we have 4 pillars of service, right? We basically our background has been from commerce. Our founders came from the commerce background. Used to work with ATG Commerce. Now they have built a commerce platform which is being taken over by Oracle, because ATG Commerce is now rebranded as Oracle Commerce, and that's the established platform. So commerce is a foundation pillar for Nvizion. From there, the natural progression was data, right? So what do you do in data is basically started from data quality, data cleansing, to master data management, right? So we have premier partners to many players in the industry, be it Informatica, Stebo, Atacama, some newbies in the block also we are partners, premium partners. Then we have looked at business analytics, and as you mentioned about predictive analytics, prescriptive analytics, we have looked at that area also, and we advance in some of the discussions with our customers. We have a very proprietary product within the commerce space, which is Nitrogen, which is basically typically takes care of the end image optimization at the e-commerce level
Okay.
to the next level, right? And
Because image rendering is one of the common problem that I am seeing in the e-commerce. When I was in banking, I was not very aware of the digital technology on the customer side with regards to web technologies.
true,
I
very
think
true.
this is the problem when you want to order something and the image just doesn't render. And I know the visual aspect of ordering something does place a lot of impact in what customer wants to actually order.
Actually, now the problem becomes more aggressive when you are actually using an e-commerce portal and you are actually driving your revenue generation or sales to the customer's path of clicking and making sure that it's going to a final stage of payment, right? That is where a Nitrogen makes it basically boost up the performance of the e-commerce website to the next level. So that's a product engineering thing that we have done. It's an AI-based product, and we have that come under a pillar which caters to 150 plus brands. The last pillar is custom application development, because through the journey of digital transformation, many of our customers have worked with building accelerator frameworks, building interfaces, building custom projects, which will basically help them touch the end goal of their digital transformation. So these are the 4 pillars that we operate in. The reason I gave you so that you can bring a context to the kind of use cases that we get challenged with. Very specifically in the manufacturing domain, we have around 5 challenges that I typically hear. One is customer 360 B2B relationships, right? Number 1. Number 2 is material master, which becomes an important master standardization for manufacturing, right? The third one is data governance. We talked about it. Data governance is a huge problem, and people think that it's an add-on activity.
It's a back office.
It is a back office.
That's what
or
people
an
think.
add-on activity towards the end of the journey. Whereas they have to be involved in the beginning stages of the project.
No, I think they should lead ideally. Even the feasibility study of whether a use case is feasible or no should be something the data team should do.
Obviously. And I meet going back to your question, when I meet certain leaders who I tell them the importance of data governance, some people understand. Some people does not have the data level of understanding of the organization, does not understand the importance of this. So one of the bigger challenges that I've seen is importance of data governance when it comes to building a framework for compliance.
See, being in banking for a very long time, I didn't really see the industry taking data quality, data governance very seriously unless and until it became a mandate from the central bank.
That's correct. That's correct. Very true. But the government.
Otherwise, it was always an ignored department or an ignored accept of. People didn't even attempt to understand what data governance means. What does a data quality or a data profiling means? What does it mean?
That's correct. I give it to the leaders of UAE. They are fantastic people who understands the importance of data. So they have brought in this privacy laws. They have brought in this governance laws. They have brought in this requirement of compliance for many organizations. I think the leadership of this country has done amazingly well in the transformation of the.
See, when I came to UAE, I came with a previous experience of working in US. I was in Atlanta. I worked in Singapore for some time. When I came into this region, I had this observation that point in time that data analytics, value of advanced analytics was not understood very, very well. But the leaders had such a great vision of coining the word data is a new oil, as a new alternate revenue channel, it may be. But the clarity they had in becoming a data-driven country, we're talking about organizations, how many countries are there out there, how many governments are there out there, trying to bring in technology transformation for the goodwill of the citizens. I extremely feel proud of having chosen this country as my second home. Mostly now it's my first home. The amazing digitalization you have here, whether it is to do with you applying for a simple Emirates card or car accidents, it's all digital right now. I knew only last week when I had my first. So, this what is technology transformation? It's not always about investing in the expensive
Very true.
technologies. It's transformation of bringing that technology to help somebody's life, the way they operate, the way they execute. I think, I mean, you rightly said the vision of the leaders here is amazing, and how they brought in all the technology into lives of its citizens is something I don't think any country
has done
out
that-
there
that
has
for-
done it.
So coming back on the data governance, which is very, very critical for that as a business challenge. The fourth one is master data, which is enabling B2B commerce
Again,
and CPG.
again, something that has never been appreciated.
Never appreciated. And the last one is the biggest challenge that I see.
Rakesh, you won't believe. I'm sorry I
Sure,
interrupted
sure.
you. My first white paper I ever wrote in my entire career was master data, MDM. When I wrote about that, people thought it's only a methodology,
Yeah.
something that is written and explained very nicely, but cannot be transformed into reality. But today, I think people have understood what it is, and there are organizations who are using it. But if you ask me on a scale of 10 how much it's being adopted and used, maybe it was 2 once upon a time, it's 4 now. But it is still there. People don't really understand that MDM is your core part of your BI, your analytics, your advanced analytics, because your entire organization is looking at the same data. Please, let's understand. MDM is not a technology solution. It's a business solution. Let's say, for example, we make a master of a SKU master, or you make a master of your credit cards, types of credit cards that you have. Everybody in the organization is looking at the same card type and looking at the same card revenue type. It's looking whether it is a B2B, B2C card, what it is. It cannot be a scenario that a card A, one department think it is B2B, the other one is thinking it's B2C. What does it do? You come up with different strategies to sell the same card, and both strategies would fail. Right? And if everybody doesn't read an SKU with the same SKU name, code, or a number, people are reordering the same SKU. You're overstocking some SKUs and you're understocking some. So these are
These
not
are the-
data problems. These are your master data problems.
So, you spoke my heart, because MDM is the core component of data-driven enterprise today. And there are chief data officers who are realizing this. And
It hurts sometimes being in a data industry when people don't understand the value of the basics.
And a lot of change management,
Yeah,
a lot of education is required to certain organizations, because many organizations, as you rightly said, data is the new oil. It is the new oil which is going to power data-driven enterprises to the growth of the next centuries to come. Having said that, integrated data management for merger and acquisition. One of the biggest problems when I talk to large manufacturing conglomerates is there are conglomerates in Saudi who actually is acquiring other companies on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis. When they acquire a new organization or a new brand to their company, the integration of that data to their existing data and aligning that particular data to their organization process.
Tell me about it. I have been
challenge.
through this when my previous organization, when it is was merging with another biggest bank, and
Yep.
that entire merger exercise was a pretty long exercise, and of course we did it very, very well. But yeah, it is data integration is a challenge.
It is. These are the 5 challenges that I get encountered, right? And on all of these challenges are data management and MDM related challenges. And we as an organization, when we actually go across and have a conversation around these challenges, we have a unified data foundation program that we set up with the data discovery.
Yeah.
The most important part that leaders have to understand is I need to do a data discovery. And going back to your earlier snippets of the conversation that you said, I have good data, but let me as a consultant or an SI company come across and tell you how good is your good data.
I remember when I changed my industry and in my current organization, first 3 months of time that I invested was only to understand all the different systems that we had. What is the age of the systems? How modern are they? What are the problems? can it be solved by a simple upgrade versus a transformation or what? So I think for every CIOs out there, before they embark on a journey to decide what they want to transform, it is not about a technology transform. It is like for a CIO, the most important thing is to add value to the business with a
True, very
clarity.
true.
With a
Very true.
clarity,
Very
you know, a clarity of whether you want to change something, bring in new, or modernize whatever you have, and all those exercises. No, trying to understand the basics of whatever you're trying to do is very, very
Right.
important.
And nimble as an organization as we are, what I've seen the biggest gap in this particular industry across manufacturing, FMCG, and large retail brands is some of the large conglomerates think that going to the big fives will solve these problems. The big fives will come in, they will do the complete audit, they will give you a almost a 20,000 page document and leave it with you and say goodbye, right? We are not, and please, and those days are over, right? And we as a nimble organization, what we do is we do a 3 to 4 week discovery on the data. We give them the entire data discovery report and also the implementation and the future roadmap plan.
See, I was reading this article on LinkedIn a few weeks back where there was a study that came out saying the big fives are now losing their customers to very small niche organizations or consultings like yours.
Yeah.
You know, it's because of the value that we try to bring in, which can be tangibly transformed into something it be done. So these are beautiful decks that you put in the drawer and never open.
Yeah.
Or it is actually talking about something tangible to be done in next 30, 60, 90
And
days.
just to reiterate,
Are you actually doing
correct?
it?
And just to reiterate a practical example that happened last week to me is I was actually in a conversation with a conglomerate based out of Saudi, manufacturing giant, and they had actually had a premier tier one partner working with them. They got to understand the challenges in the system. Then they called us, invited us for a discussion, and we did a 3 week engagement with them on the data discovery aspects, right? The real thing that actually happened was both on the data side as well as on the commerce side, which we specialize. On the commerce side, they had a legacy system which has been there for ages, and that legacy system is not willing to absorb any of the new changes that has come across.
Or APIs or something, you know, integration
Correct.
with
Integration.
cross
So
technology.
the customer, jokingly, he was telling me that the platform has the ability to raise a ticket for a challenge that they have in the platform, but that ticket will not be looked at for the next 3 months.
And why is that so?
And because that particular giant is not investing in the e-commerce platform in the first
okay,
place.
okay.
So this becomes a bigger factor to understand for customers in the manufacturing and the retail space who wants to go into a data-driven enterprise to look at the commerce initiative also and go with the modern solutions which is there. So legacy to modern commerce is something that is something everybody is looking forward to, right? And we provide step by step, roadmap for that as part of the discovery, and also the implementation experience that we bring in from working with multiple global brands, right, across the world. So these are the top 5 challenges that I've seen across, and each of these challenges go back to the fundamental preliminary problem of making sure that the data diagnosis is done properly, and there is a data foundation that is created, which can be governed using a proper data governance panel, right? Which includes data stewardships and data owners who will create the data policy and run it like a mandate across the organization.
See, I think that this kind of data diagnosis for me at my current organization actually helped me to take the logical next steps of trying to have a stable ERP, which is doing a high quality of data capture and has a great masters in terms of the dimensions that we're building. And then the data from all these systems coming into a lake where I can plug in reports, Power BI, analytics, any other low code, no code for doing democratization of data for the users of the use cases. I think that understanding, that efforts to put in the initial time in the initial stage is very, very important.
Patience and empathy from a leadership at the leadership level is very, very crucial for driving data and making sure that you're leading the data-driven enterprise. Sri, with a lot of hype around AI projects, right? Most of the AI projects are getting funding, so easy to run an AI project. But what about a data project?
Just write AI in the BCD, it gets
It's
approved.
correct. And how about a data project? Does it go through the same kind of enthusiasm and rigor within the organization, or do you? What have you seen from your days, both from a banking as well as from the current organization perspective?
I think it's an unfortunate trend, probably, that put in an AI and it gets approved. Though people talk about it jokingly, but there is a serious problem, underlying problem around that. Um, data projects. Why do they suffer for getting funding or an approval? I think it's more to do with articulating the value that it would bring in the language your CFO, your CEO, your business owners may understand. You know, uh, the technology leaders who come in or the tech teams who are working out there are so tech focused that sometimes their language of translation doesn't hit the chord. you know so breaking down the value is very important, narrating that value in a storytelling format that your CFO can relate, that your CEO can relate. you know you can't tell stories to your CFO. He is interested in hearing numbers. Yeah. So for him, to show a tangible value from a data projects, you talk about the quality of improvement in the data. See, today our customer fill rate in KYC data. Let's just take KYC data. That's important in every industry.
Very true.
Do you have the date of birth captured for all your customers? Okay. Now today maybe I have 100K customers. I have only about 70K customers data captured for that. What is the loss? Maybe we are not able to connect to our customers by sending that small happy birthday or reminding them to plan for their family members. There are occasions where in the busy lives we forget about planning for our family members. So are we able to connect to our customers with small things like that? This is the value. It indirectly has a value on your sales, the way customers stay loyal to you. So that fill rate of date of birth today may be 20%. We intend to take it to 50%. And here is the foreseeable value we see on the customer experience, maybe a 2% improvement in the customer satisfaction rates.
Correct.
See, I am a very, very strong believer that any data-driven project has to fall into the 4 pillars of value. Revenue, which means you are doing a data project to cross-sell, upsell and all, where there is a direct revenue impact. Even for that matter, e-commerce.
Correct.
The sales improve. There is a value. So revenue pillar. The second one is cost-saving pillars. So you're trying to do your data projects to identify analytics models that will bring you cost-saving synergies. Maybe you want to kill some SKUs that are not performing. Yeah, maybe you want to not operate in certain routes which are not profitable to you anymore. So cost saving aspect. Third one, entire supply chain or turnaround times in any of the business processes that you're doing. Data helping to understand which processes are taking a longer time versus a shorter time. Or are there optimization problems that we want to solve? Fourth one is customer experience. Are we working on any data problem to solve a customer problem, his complaint problem, his quality problem? Are we hearing him? He's been writing on your Instagram, he's writing on your Facebook, he is writing on any channel. Do you have an aggregator to aggregate all that feedback and tell you? Are we capturing that data probably? Are we understanding the sarcasm he is giving us in his comments? So revenue, cost saving, improvement of efficiencies, and customer experience.
Very true.
The data value falls into one of the other parameters of this. And I believe so far in my entire career, whenever I have taken approvals on any data project, is by showing that tangible value and translating into a language the other person understands. So it's more to do with us, the technical leaders or the tech teams, failing to translate that value. Yeah. So if we effectively explain that, you can't do an AI chatbot without having a data to train the model. Where will I bring the data? They understand. They need to know. I think we are in those times of technology where explaining the value has frankly become very easy. Okay, because people come with a certain level of understanding already. So it's very easy. Now you don't have to like really kill yourself to explain what is an AI, but you may have to put in more efforts to explain how it will bring a tangible business value. It's no more about technology. It's all about comprehending the value you will try to bring, whether you do a simple reporting, a simple data problem solving, or an AI or an analytics. So that explanation of value is very, very important. I think that has helped me. And don't be fearful of speaking your mind when you believe something will work for your business and you don't believe it won't work. I have always been very vocal about when I see a value and in something that we need to do, I do try my best to have that communicated. And I drop it, of course, if it is not making sense after a period of time. But even when you've been given a strategy and you think it will not work, I think we as a leaders, let me say it, have a moral responsibility towards our organizations to say without fear that, look, you want me to do this, I don't think it will work because we don't have the basic foundation set right. Right? Maybe we should do this 1, 2, 3 things. Eventually, after an year, I can do that what you want me to do today. But if I do it today, maybe it will take 2 years to do it, and then to show you a value.
Yeah.
That comprehension of explanation.
It's very true. So return of investment is absolutely a key parameter, but at the same time, there has to be patience that has to be followed for data projects, right? And that's you touch upon a very important point, right? Speaking your mind out, right? It's very crucial. And I've seen both organizations from my perspective, from a service implementation perspective, where leaders have spoken out and really substantiated facts for the database projects, data projects. It has been always a successful thing, even from a pilot perspective. Whereas driven by initiation from a top management without any focus or lack of focus, as absolutely those data projects have failed. Coming to the fag end of the hour, I wanted to ask you, as a CIO, what are the top 3 things that you would advise your fellow mates or people embarking upon data projects at a leadership level?
Very simple, I think, not too complicated. And I think these are very basics that everybody should do. Maybe in the rush of the hour, we are not paying focus to it. First one is to understand your domain, your organization very, very well, so that you can come up with solutions that are adding value to the business. Okay, not with technology offerings. Let's buy this, let's buy that. The second one is investing in your teams, upskilling them continuously. That's your responsibility as a CIO. If your team is on not on a right learning path, that will not motivate them and that will not add value to your organization. So you should consistently invest in having your teams learn, put them on a path of continuous learning. And third one is take your people along in a technology journey. Technology projects are not technical team projects, they are business team projects. Yeah, you need to have a right set of business users on your tech transformation initiatives who want it, who will use it, and who will bring value. So it's less of you and more of them. So I think these are the 3 primary things we should be focusing on.
Thank you so much, Sri. It's been a wonderful discussion, very insightful, and very, very happy to know that from a banking to a baking world, you're making significant steps to make your organization a data-driven organization. All the best for your future endeavors, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. I think I should take this opportunity also to thank my leadership at Switz Group, who have really believed in me and gave me an opportunity without a fear of bringing in somebody from an alternate industry who haven't even baked once, and giving the empowerment to experiment, to fail. So I am deeply thankful to the leadership, the owners of the business. It's a family-owned business and a wonderful set of human beings. And I'm absolutely in love with the industry and with the organization.
you.